All right, let's try this. Game 2. Searching for 30 plus 0. I lost my first game earlier today, but I think I played well. Let's see if there's... second round's any better. Okay, just minimizing everything. All right, not the strongest opponent, which is what I need. Let's just play e5, I guess. Just wishing some good luck. Ah, the Scotch. So this is my my opening. So I fortunately know all this. So that just loses the bishop. It doesn't lose the bishop, but it loses the e-pawn. I attack the bishop. Gotta make sure I'm keeping the position in my head. Yeah. Nah. I mean, I'm up a pawn. Something like bishop. No, c3. Then I have to exchange and everything's bad. Bishop d6 is not the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. But I should probably just play bishop e7, eh? To d2. Well, let's see where his bishop wants to go. So we can't play knight goes to e4, which we would like to play, because b2 hangs. f4. Kind of a random move. Gotta think d5 or rook b8. It's gotta be d5 here, right? Bishop takes b2. And then we go over to d4 check afterwards. I kind of walks into knight f3, right? I'm already up one pawn. Let's play d5 and just do our development. He does have a bishop on e2, I gotta remember that. And my opponent may have lost connection. 114 bullet games, 104 blitz games, 176 rapid, and 700 classic. Wow. Well, that's what you're supposed to be doing if you're lower rated. Ah, back. Okay, good. Might just be poor connection. I'm not sure what Irish. All right, is Rook B8 just a little too cute? I'm kind of hoping for like a B3. No, I should just take the pawn. Well, he can't really defend it, can he? B3 loses the rook. C3 still loses the pawn because of the thing. And that's kind of what I want. C4 doesn't work. B4 doesn't work. And I'm kind of hoping that I'm going to be able to take the pawn. I know hope chess. It doesn't matter because it's going to be defended. All right, so, and he's going to play G5 next to try and push me away. I have played H6, so it's not a huge deal. But I think we take the pawn and then come back to D4. G2. Maybe I should have done the check before he played G4. Don't have a great spot for my bishop C8. So rook takes E2, rook takes E2, bishop A6. With the skewer. Bishop A6. Bishop on D4 is a little bit loose, though. Let's say he plays, you know, knight F3. I'm going to take the rook regardless, right? There's no rook E8 because my rook will slide over. Bishop A6. Rook takes E2, rook takes E2, bishop A6. It's a skewer that after take, I can do something like king F8 and then bring my rook over, exchange the rook. But all this is really doing is exchanging pieces. Maybe that's what I want, because my bishop sucks. Let's see what happens. This is so exhilarating. I think I'm doing well, but there's that element of mystery. Something like rook is going to go to e1. Well, I got to take on f1, of course. Knight takes f1. Okay. So I'm just curious. If I were to do king f8, rook takes c7. No, because then he'll be able to take c6. So we're just going to drop the bishop back. Let's do that fast. So rook d7 would be a mistake. So I'm not material, but I don't really have a... Don't got a pass pawn yet. It's not easy to get one. So this will not be the simplest endgame in the world. No, I gotta exchange the rooks. And I have a bishop against the knight, so that should favor me. At the same time, the longer the game goes on, the harder this is going to be. I've got to remember where his pawns are, so it's f5, g4. Okay. I think that helps me. So we're going to get the rook goes to here. It's protected. I'm attacking the g4 pawn. And then I'm ready to swing across. More importantly, I can get my king up to d6. Oh, and his knight's on f1. King goes to f3. Yep, so he's attacking there. His rook's on d2. Yep. Now, rook goes to e3 check is somewhat interesting. But even if you were to go to king f2, I don't see a great discovered check. And if I go to A3, maybe we go to E3 just the way I can get my king to D6. G5 then is very nearly checkmate. G5 takes. If I bring my king up here, knight H5 though, right? Yeah. Oh, I should move my rook and then prepare a bishop to E3 skewer. Trying to keep the rooks on now. Okay. You gotta play G5. Takes. Threatening him. King's on D6. Well. Only en passant is saving him. So how do I get my bishop in? Bishop C5 goes to D6 maybe? This G5 doesn't quite... If I could just control F5. But he's going to go to F5 with his king. So I go g5 here. Not so easy. So bishop goes to d4. So that way after knight f5, king c5. King goes to f5. I would go here. No. Hold on. As long as my pawn is here, he can't move forward. But rook e6 is possible. Okay. Okay, frig. Okay, now I know what's happening. So and then rook e6 picks the pawn up. He's going to advance. Yeah, now if I were to throw this check over, and then go bishop goes to d4, yeah, I'm not so super confident about this right now. This is why playing people is so much better than the bots. There's actually a coherent strategy here, right? He's advancing forward. There better still be a c-pawn there, because otherwise I threw my rook away. Yeah. So he has to be very careful and not take this with his king. Yeah, that was very tempting. Unfortunately, after this skewer... Now he still has a pawn on h2, yes? I'm just cheating a little bit, I suppose, but he has never moved his h-pawn. Yeah. So unfortunately now... So where's my king? All right. I was actually surprisingly did my opponent not stick around? That was not as easy as it probably should be, given the rating difference between here. Again, no disrespect. It's just I am very much not an 800 blitz player or bullet player, right? However, I'm looking around here. Okay, this might have been a little too cute. Right? Again, white has a very coherent strategy. And I'm up a whole bunch of pawns here. Let's do the computer analysis. Yeah, not a huge... Yeah, you know, this, you know, catch the pawns, throw this down, that's a... that's a strategy that I have to respect. And my own pawn is very far away. It was somewhat frustrating that I was up 3 pawns and only had 1 passed pawn. Anyway, for the record, everything up into here was very easy. Again, I play this as white, so this is pretty easy, right? Queen e2 is the correct move, of course. So all of this was clear. Yep, very clear. Yeah, again, I was really trying to get something like this, so that way, you know, give him a move. I would get something like this and then play bishop d4. But this is silly because the rooks are connected. I don't know why I was spending so much time thinking about that. I'm not sure if in my head there was a block between those two pieces. I didn't fully see that they were connected, perhaps. I certainly didn't appreciate that. Anyway, we take the pawn. Bishop d4. Yeah. So all this, again, very clear. It hates this. Oh, of course. I saw that bishop c3 was a pin. I did not appreciate how difficult it would be to defend both the bishop and the knight. So at the end of the day, this simply exchanges a bunch of pieces. Still clear up to here. Yeah, so this was clear. I didn't play very well. Okay, but again, hey, this is it. This is one for the history books. My first blindfold victory. Again, I feel as if my the vision was generally there. Though, it's kind of hard to describe, but there's this uncertainty. I believe I actually mentioned that at some point. Just a general... I'm 98% sure I've got it, but that 2%, it's kind of like you're playing poker. You don't know what the next card is going to be. Here, I should know what all the cards are, but I don't. And that uncertainty does creep in, and I think that subjective feeling, that going away, is going to be sort of the real test for how I'm improving. Sure, winning is going to be great and all that, but getting that subjective feeling of confidence of playing the moves I'd be playing normally and doing it quicker and with more confidence. But hey, this is one to celebrate. For my opponent, I might as well do this as well. So all of this here, up till here, is absolutely great. You followed all the general opening principles. Well, right? You developed, you're opening the center, that's fine. Take. Advancing the pawn is perfectly possible. You just have to understand that if you do that, and I attack it with the queen, you're going to need to defend this pawn somehow. You don't want to defend it. You don't have a knight on f3, right? So you can't defend it that way. You can't really defend it with f4 either. I mean, you can, but that's just going to encourage me to blow it open, right? As long as there's a pin here, you can't actually do anything. And so you'd have to play queen e2 to defend the pawn. And this position actually gets kind of funky, because now I do have to move my knight. If I don't move my knight, you can take it because you've broken the pin. And then you can chase my knight. You can chase my knight around, and then this is just, kind of a really strange position. It's perfectly fine. The one downside to playing like this is your normal opening principles don't help so much, because the position has gotten funky so quickly. So simply developing all your pieces to natural squares isn't that simple. Like, for example, how do you develop this bishop? It's not immediately clear where this bishop wants to go, and your king, if it stays in the center too long, could be in trouble. And so, you might want to consider playing knight c3, defending. Then you can play bishop d3, you can castle, you got bishop g5. See, your pieces just naturally flow to good squares. Now that said, that's just an option, right? And that comes down to preference. Now, you shouldn't throw away pawns, because that's what happened here. Queen takes e2, queen, right? We ended up exchanging. Knight goes to d2. In my head, knight c3 makes a lot of sense. But anyway, knight to d2, you're developing. After h6, yeah. Notice how when you exchange, that allows my bishop now to attack. And my bishop before here, it's okay. But here, it's a really good piece. So that exchange doesn't really help you. In general, unless you're forced to do exchange, you probably shouldn't do it. Or only do an exchange if you absolutely have to. See, bishop f4, now you're forcing me to do something about this pawn, for example. It's actually creating a threat. Anyway, so we'll see. I played h6, you took f4. So that ignores the fact that this pawn is hanging. I guess the best move is this, but that's kind of sad. You never really want your rooks to defend pawns. But anyway, f4. I then played d5, g4. I finally took the pawn. This is all fine. King g2 is good. I thought you had to do this, but again, in case you didn't know, I'm playing blindfold, so I wasn't able to see the pieces. Anyway, so king goes to g2, which is fine. Comes over. Yeah. So this is one of those moves that you would like to make. Unfortunately, after bishop to c3, I'm attacking this knight, and it's pinned. You can't defend it this way, because I'll take it. There's no other way to defend it, and if you move the knight, well, then you lose the rook, right? And so just, this is the move, definitely, that should be high on your radar. Tactically, moving the bishop to one of these squares was just required. But anyway, I did this, which probably wasn't the best. You brought your rook all the way in. That's good. Take. f5. So I would just, I guess advancing the pawns worked. I would suggest perhaps trying to get this knight in. Right? Where's a good spot for this knight? Here's amazing. Here's amazing. Why? Here's not bad either. All three of these are squares on my half of the board that are protected by one of your pawns. Right? So you can easily imagine this knight coming here to here. And now it's got some pressure. And if I were to ever kick it, let's just make some random moves. Let's say you do this. Let's just say I make some random moves here. Okay. If I ever try and kick it, right, then, well, I lose that pawn, right? And so that knight, it's really stuck there. And because it's on a light square, this bishop can't hit it away. And, your knight is also protecting your rook, so there's no immediate danger if I do, well, there is some danger, but just your pieces are protecting each other. So, backing up, as soon as you put the pawn there, which may or may not be a bad move, now your knight can't go there. It's just something to consider. I chased your rook. Very good, you do not put it here, because after king d7, your rook is trapped. I offered the trade of rooks. You kept the rooks on. I don't know what's best. I will say when you do this, your rook is now staring at a fully protected pawn. So I'm not sure how good that is. It's true, though, you are down 2 pawns. And so it does make sense to keep some pieces on. King f3, activating your king. So whoops. Oh, shoot. This makes sense. And so then, see how you felt like you needed to offer the rook trade afterwards? So maybe it made sense to trade it right away. At the same time, this general, see? You bring your knight forward to a protected square. It's annoying me. The knight comes in. Your knight is very close to being trapped here. I'm not sure if I can trap it. You got this and this. Just got to be extraordinarily careful. And then here you just fell for an unfortunate trap, but, like, honestly, I'm rated over 2,000 in virtually all the time controls. You played generally well, and especially as this is blindfold, with these pawns marching down, if you didn't lose the exchange here, you had real chances here. So that's good. Just a couple, small little things, and maybe something to consider about the openings, but otherwise, that was good. So thank you so much for playing with me, and all the best with your chess going forward. If you have any questions, let me know. Happy to discuss. Bye for now.